Elliott Forrest here. As promised, from time to time, I said I would make suggestions as to what maybe you should watch at home. And certainly, one of the funniest things you can watch from home on your television or your smartphone is Bill Irwin and David Shiner in Old Hats, which was at the Signature Theater and had a beautiful run there. And joining me now to talk about this is Mr. Bill Irwin himself. Bill, thank you so much for doing this.
Hello, old friend and neighbor. How's Nyack?
Nyack is good. We miss you. As many people know, you lived here for how many years?
20, right on round 20.
Yeah, always a good neighbor. You participated in so many different nonprofits and helped raise money for things. And our late friend Jonathan Demme also lived down the block. You were close friends with him as well.
Yes, Jonathan, yourself, Nyack, so many people close to our hearts here. We're hunkered down in Manhattan at the moment, but shouting out to Nyack, and how is everything there? How are you? How are family?
My family is good. We're healthy, which is first off something we're extremely grateful for. And you, just briefly, this is crazy, right? You're hunkering down and not performing, which must be in a way sad and painful for you.
Except for Zoom, there is no performer work right now. Martha Roth and I are hunkered down. It's summer camp, it's work hive, it's prayer vigil 24/7 here in Manhattan. And again, thinking of people in Nyack, I hear there are some challenges there.
Well, I think obviously there are challenges everywhere. There's a great initiative, but you know the community. People are making masks and raising money and doing all sorts of things for people in need. The Nyack Center is at the center of feeding people who are in need, and of course, we're all looking out for our healthcare professionals.
Thank God for Nyack Sketchbook comes into my laptop whenever Bill Batson sends it.
Well, we miss you and we hope you come visit soon. I did want to make suggestions for people, and I was so surprised and delighted to see that your signature theater production of Old Hats with David Shiner is online. People can put it on their big screen, they can watch it on their smartphone. This is 90 minutes of total joy and mayhem. How would you describe the show?
An effort by two younger clowns. Starting to seem like a long time ago when we were cavorting in that way. Mr. Shiner and myself, and the wonderful band led by Shayna Taub. Uh, it's it's a look at the clown's craft and its segments because clown work tends to structure itself or sit most comfortably in short segments. It's kind of like old 45s on the record player. 2.5, 3, maybe as long as 6 minutes facilitates a classic clown entree. Longer than that gets to be something else. Shorter than that, it gets to be something else. So there are some clown bits from our heart, from our back pockets, from our old drawers, so to speak. And we put it together. And yes, we got to play it 8 times a week there at the Signature Theater.
There's so many bits that I love and have enjoyed over the years. I have to say, the very first time I saw Cirque du Soleil, it was, I think, the original one that came to New York with David Shiner and this bit that he does where he reenacts an old movie and he's the director. And I had seen that years before, and it was such a delight to see that recreated in this as well.
I have probably seen that bit or some version of it 1,500 to 2,000 times. No exaggeration, from the stage right wing. And if I could go see it 3, 4, 5 times tomorrow, I would put my mask on and do so. Yeah, he is one madman and one brilliant clown, Mr. David Shiner.
And I think I've seen almost everything you've done on Broadway, whether it's largely New York or Full Moon, but you've often played with technology. You played with technology, whether you had cameras on stage, and in this, you sort of shrunk it down from the cameras you had done previously into playing just with an iPad.
Yeah, at great peril. We were forever hoping that the theater's Wi-Fi would facilitate this sophisticated, way beyond me, sophisticated switching that we were doing, so that a man, we called him Mr. Businessman, would relate to what was on his screen. Little did we know how this would take over life in the times ahead of us. Yeah, it's a favorite bit of mine. My pulse, my blood pressure slightly rises every time I think about it because the stakes were high every time we went out on stage with that bit.
And I will say, you make a lovely woman.
I've been complimented on my legs, and I'll take any compliment.
You mentioned this earlier. The real revelation at that point in 2016 was for me, and I love you, and I love David Shiner, but the real revelation was Shayna Taub.
Ah,
I had seen the show you had done before, and you had a different band with Nellie McKay, who was lovely, and but Shayna Taub is in this. And she's gone on to do so many other great things, music for the public theater. She's an amazing songwriter, but she's so sweet and so young and surprisingly dark in her writing, right?
she's a young, sweet, dark creature, and being on stage with her, she's a real theater mind. Even, I think she was born as such, as young as she was, and as much older as we were when we were on stage with her. It just is a theater connection that we made. And as you say, songwriter, I can only hope she's holed up someplace writing songs like mad, because she is, I'm not knowledgeable enough to make the comparisons, but she is this generation's, among the premier songwriters of this generation.
I totally agree. The clowning that you guys do is great, and the songs in between are just as tantalizing. I'm going to put the link to Old Hats both on this YouTube page and on the emails that I send this out to, so people can see it. Assuming performing arts goes into some kind of normality in the future, what's coming up for you that hopefully you'll be able to do?
Well, it's all hope. As I was mentioning to you before we came on, I have 4 wonderful contracts for the year of 2020. None of the jobs may happen, or they all may try to happen at the same time when we resume. So I don't know how to answer your question, except to say that, like all actors, I'm working on things. I'm trying to keep my muscles alive. We're on Zoom all the time, trying to contemplate the future of the theater, and looking forward to the time when people can gather again, because this is a wonderful gift, this Zoom technology. It is wonderful to connect like this, but we need, in our spirits and in our hearts, we need to gather when we safely can again.
I look forward to that. Tony winner, friend, clown, actor, Bill Irwin, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much. If anybody watches Old Hats, makes me very happy. If they make it through to the end, makes me even happier. No votes as to who's the funnier clown, because Shiner and I debate that daily on email. So please, keep it a personal thing. Except to say that Shayna Taub and her entire musical ensemble, David Shiner, great geniuses to be in a room with.
I hope to see you in person soon, Bill.
I hope so, man. Take care.
All right, then.
Take care.